when you have an idea, be it a business one, for example, yeah, um, it's not always a good idea to race headlong and try and do it. Yeah, business or any other idea. It's sometimes a good idea, or I'd say invariably a good idea, to sit back and have a good think about it. Yeah. Um, and yeah, in my world, we'd call this planning. Yeah. So you have an idea, you would scope it, have an overreaching scope of your idea, and then you do some planning, how you're going to achieve the idea. Yeah. To get to it. So really, when you're doing your planning, you should look at what you want to achieve, what your end goal or goals may be, depending on what your brilliant idea is going to be. Um, and then the other thing I'm going to say is, yeah, looking at the risks along the way, which is, funny enough, something that's not always done in a lot of places in the world. Yeah. So, yeah, and I would often say this, and yeah, I did courses about this in the UK many times and things like this, all management courses and all that. The more pessimistic you are, probably the better it can be. Yeah. So if you've got a business plan or any other plan, yeah, you look at it. For example, um, what could be the safety risks of it? What could be the social risks of it? What could be the financial risks of it all? Yeah. I mean, yeah, being pessimistic, you note these down and then you look at the probability and then, hey, you then work out how you might mitigate against it. Possibly not even stop it totally, but what you would do to lessen the impact, let's say. Yeah. And with any scheme, I'm going to say this, and I don't care what it is, you got to look at the outcome. What are you going to achieve? Is it going to be positive or negative? If so, for whom? Um, and is it worth doing? Yeah. And I know schemes are risky and ideas are risky and all that, but yeah, you got to take a few minutes to sit back and think, yeah, do your Dragon's Den moment. If you're going to imagine you're going to face a panel, yeah, you're going to be pulled apart. Um, yes, I mean, it should be anything should be done with a pragmatic and balanced agenda. You shouldn't be at this point. Okay, having your initial idea might be an emotional thing for you, but you should then put the emotions on the back burner and certainly not be ideologically driven as well. Yeah. Take a good, cold, hard look at what you're going to do. Um, Funny enough, um, I was actually talking to someone this morning, a client this morning, and we're talking about AI. And I've actually found a positive use for AI. If you're going to do a presentation for someone, yeah, or a group of people and all that, apparently the idea this guy suggested was you feed, I don't know, some points or anything into the AI and ask it to come back with some questions. So that's something you can do yourself. So if you've got your brilliant idea, you put it into AI and you say what questions could be asked about this. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say it's wonderful, but I've never thought about this about AI before. Yeah. That it could be a tool that you could use AI. So if you're going to have a brilliant idea, sit back, plug it into AI, have a play around with some things, and get shocked at some answers, questions you might get asked. Yeah. You'll probably be at this point, be just a little bit disillusioned, which is probably a good thing because you're going to be, think, oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. This and this and this. Yeah. Which is a good thing to do. Okay. Um, Now it's always important in the planning stage or to have a think about how you're going to implement. For example, if you've got a major project, maybe to put the best resources in key positions or the best resources available to you, people that are qualified to be doing the positions that they're asking to do. Yeah. Um, Not always people that will agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, because not because they're favorable to you, but or any individuals, but because they are able to achieve the things, and that goes to resources as well. Anything resources, I mean, really, maybe it's a good idea to speak to people who are willing to have explainable objections to what you're planning. Yeah, hound you if you like. Okay, you got the AI at one level, have some human emotions to things, people that might be able to see through things or have an alternative view to you. And I would always say engage all interested parties. Yeah, if you've got, even if you've got family members who could be affected by what you're doing, it might mean you're going to be in a stressful time for 5 years. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to speak to them about it. Yeah, anything that's going to impact on their lives. Yeah, get them prepared or speak to them. In business sense, talk to people. We call them, they're now known as stakeholders. I hate that term, stakeholders. They're just interested parties. Yeah, okay, make a list of them. Yeah, it might be that you won't need to speak to everyone. Yeah. And how will people react? Yeah, end users and those are directly affected, I suppose, is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's who your interested parties are. And so, I mean, this is a simple overview how to initiate a project and implement it. Now, I don't care if this is a business project or your own personal project. It might be, if you're going to do some house amendments to your house. I mean, you don't want to be rushing down to the hardware shop, buying a pot of paint, come home and paint it, and your wife comes in from work and sees that it's the wrong color totally. Yeah, and get her a buy into it all. Yeah, I mean, otherwise your dinner might not be cooked that night. Yeah, or it could be that you're in a position of power, for example. Maybe it could be political power, and you suddenly have an idea. It's not a good idea to just shout it from the rooftops unless you've got a good plan to implement it. You've done all the research. You've got the right people in place to deal with it, to implement it. Yeah. You're not going to get halfway through and think, this might not have been a good idea at all. We haven't costed it properly. Yeah. So, really, simple overview to planning. Yeah. I've done this for a job for 20 years. I even apply it now in my current role when I'm engaging in something else. So here we go. Have you got any thoughts about this, Steve, or any criticisms about anything I've just said?
Look, business plans,
Mm.
you can download them off the internet for free. Easy.
Yeah.
SWOT documents you can download off the internet for free. Marketing plans, you can download them off the internet for free. When you have a startup business, if you need financing, to get financing from a bank, you need to show the bank your business plan. Right. So that's the easy part. The difficult part is keeping to the plan that you decided that is what we're going to have to do. And if you need to change your plan, you do it in like 3 monthly reviews. And if you have to change your plan, then basically you have to redo your business plan. Start again.
Yeah.
So the thing is that a lot of companies fall down. They say that I think it's 90% of companies don't last more than 3 years or something like that. It's because they do the business plan at the beginning. Everybody's excited. Let's do this business plan. Yeah. Let's get the financing from the bank. The bank said yes.
Mm.
But once to get going, the nitty gritty and what with the bookkeeping and with the hiring and firing and everything else, a lot of small business people, they get overwhelmed.
Yes.
And normally the first thing that gets kicked to the curb is the business plan and the monitoring of the business plan.
Mm. Yes.
So, that's where they'll go down. But basically it's quite just simple logic. You know, if you sit down with a group of people and you thrash out what it is you want to do, and then you thrash out how to do it,
Yeah.
and you give yourselves um, a review time every 3 months. There's not a great deal that can go wrong with your SWOT. You know, you find your strengths, your
Yeah.
weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats.
Right. Yeah.
And once you have all those in hand,
Mm.
then you try and capitalize and see the strengths and minimize against your weakness, minimize yourself against the weaknesses, capitalize on the opportunities, and you know, try and put a brick wall between you and the threats. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. You mean,
so it's pretty much the bare back, as they say here, of
mm,
business. You know,
yeah.
there's nothing. No, there's no point in going on about. You get people complaining about the Elon Musks of this world. You know, I mean, he's obviously kept to his business plan, right? And he's obviously done his SWOT things,
Yeah.
and he's done his reviews, and he's done his
Mm.
marketing plans, and kept to them, and it's all done. It's all worked out well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's down to the individual.
Mm.
If you don't abide by what yourself have put on a piece of paper to say that's what you're going to do, then the problem is you're going to be on a horse without reins. You know,
Yeah. Well, this
you're
is
going
it.
to horse going to do what it wants, and you're not going to just not going to have control.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen enterprise organizations both here and in the UK say to people, "Oh, just go and do it. Yeah, just don't have any fear." Yes, when probably fear is probably a good essential survival thing to have.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, the thing is that these people they say, "Good, just go and do it. Don't have any fear." Yeah, yeah, of course,
Mm.
you need to.
Yeah.
What they don't tell you is how to do it,
Mm.
and and they don't follow up and make sure that you're on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
You know, go and do it. Have courage. To do anything, you need to have courage. You know,
Yes.
this it's stating the obvious.
Mm.
You know, just keep concentrating on what you do. Yes, of course, you need to,
Yeah.
but they don't tell you how to, and that is one of the big problems. Of and you know we've got Sebrai across here. You know, it's like and the people that are running Sebrai are all failed business people. So,
I'm not
I
saying
mean,
too. Yeah, I've had experience of this. Yes, I've had first-hand experience. Not me directly. Well,
right. So you know, I mean,
yeah,
there's talk about the blind leading the blind.
yeah.
You know,
I
it's
I'll be quite honest, and the risk, and they are quite litigious, this organisation here, so I'll be very careful what I say. But I read some of the literature from what they had, obviously it's in Portuguese, but even I could see what? Wow. Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, the argument, well, you haven't got the business credentials we've got. I'm rather pleased about that, you know. Yeah, I mean, I've worked in the industry all my years. I've seen things go right and things go wrong. Yeah, multinational companies do get it wrong sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, they're big enough and ugly enough to swallow some capital on things. Um, yeah, I mean, okay, we're talking about business, but yeah, I'm sort of saying it can be government policy, for instance. Yeah. We've all seen it where things have gone wrong, where local governments are the worst for starting things and not being able to see them through to fruition, you know, actually fully done. Um, yeah, I mean, okay, we've all got our dreams, our aspirations. Yeah, I mean, probably at some point, Steve and myself have dreamt that we've had at 3 o'clock in the morning, we've probably dreamt of well, we're going to be millionaires at this time next year. And then we've woken up in the morning and thought that's not even feasible. Yeah. Yeah, that's so Steve. You probably haven't, but yeah. And I think that's it. Feasibility. Yeah. I mean, uh, yeah, I've seen this. I mean, okay, you can be encouraged to do things. Um, all businesses start with an idea somewhere. You've got to better sustain it. Um, the unfortunate thing is, yes, people don't always understand what they're going into. If you set up your own business, you've got to be prepared to do 14-hour days. You might do 8 hours, 9, 10 hours in the office or in the business. You've got additional hours trying to sort out the accounts, ordering, even you might not have time during the day, depending on what your business is. People say, oh, you should be time managing. When you do have a business, time management should be the first thing that goes out the window sometimes. Not being funny. Yeah, you don't have time to sit down sometimes. If you get the right personnel, depending on what type of business is, yes, you will have time to sit back and think about things. Yeah.
I'm slightly different on that point of view, Mark.
Yeah.
I think that time management is really important.
Mm.
I mean, if you don't time manage, then you're
Mm.
going to be disappeared. You're going to be
Oh
disappearing.
yeah,
You know,
I know. I'm just saying,
right?
yeah,
If you do time manage, you perhaps you'll realize just how much time you don't have.
Mm.
And so, at least I mean, I know that you keep an agenda now.
yeah,
Well, you need to do that if you're a sole business trader. You
Mm.
need to plan your day.
yeah,
Normally you do this. Normally you do this at night time for the following day. You
yes,
plan your following day. You
Mm.
have a list of things that you need to do,
yeah,
and you need to do them some by certain time in the day.
yes,
And so you concentrate and do the most important things, then the not so most important things,
Mm.
then the least important things.
yes,
If you get mailed in the morning, you don't open it until the end of the working day, because you don't want it to interrupt what your plan is of
yeah,
that day.
Mm.
So time management, I think, is very important. I don't think you can. I
yeah,
don't think you can sort of rumble along
yeah. I
without time
probably,
management.
I probably didn't. Yeah, say. I mean, yeah. What I'm saying is, yeah, you've got to be prepared to, as I said, to adapt in it. Yeah, you're going to be occasionally being in crisis
So of course,
management.
when you do plan out your day, some things are going to go wrong.
Yeah,
Of
I mean,
course,
I think
and
it's
that's where the adapting comes into it.
yeah. I mean, I think I saw an interview with Warren Buffett, one of these people, who said they only plan 3 things a day normally. Funny enough, and they said the day fills itself up on its own. Yeah, so don't try and overfill your day as well if you do have a business. Yeah.
People like Warren Buffett have about 1,000 people
Well,
around them.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. He's in a privileged position to say that. Yeah, when you're a sole trader like I am, where I've got to do business, I've got to do business. Yeah, different other plans, prepare material. Do some marketing myself, deal with bigger clients that I have. Yeah, sometimes having to change clients' requirements or times they need. Yeah. Sunny your day goes. And then, yeah, obviously I'm always trying to acquire information. And obviously I have my downtimes or my quieter times where I do podcasts with Steve. Yeah. Which is partly relaxation for me and of interest as well. Yeah. And actually feeds into my actual day job as well, believe it or not, people. Yeah, Steve is becoming a bit of a celebrity amongst certain people he doesn't know about. But yes, it's a yeah, it again, yeah, is planning. And I think the most is yeah, I just sort of said about time management, but planning is the most important thing. I remember watching courses on the telly, De Bono's planning thing, thinking straight logically. And I think this is exactly what, okay, you could criticize him, Elon Musk. I mean, there have been times in Elon Musk's career where we talked about it. We had two businesses that were both failing, and he could have closed one down to save the other, and he chose not to. He went hell for leather. Now, the way he said it, it was almost cavalier-like. Oh, they're going to go. I imagine Elon Musk had a 90% foolproof plan already in place how he was going to save these two businesses. Yeah.
Elon Musk said in an interview recently, he said that he's never actually started a business on his own from zero.
Yeah.
He's always bought
Mm.
a company that's on its way out.
Mm.
A little bit like what's the word I'm looking for? Sports Direct.
Yeah.
Sports Direct, they bought out a lot of brand names that were on the
Yeah.
way out,
Yeah.
like Slazenger and I know all this because I buy all these cheap
Yeah.
cheap sportswear stuff.
Yeah.
And there is it takes an awful lot of the paperwork away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Yeah. I mean, if you can see something's failing, and it might be you can see why it's failing. Yeah. And how you can rectify that. You're not going to tell the people already running it, yeah, sell it to me and I'll turn this round. I mean, yeah, it's I mean, yes, he's not going to go in and buy up something that's totally ridiculous, but yeah, he can probably see, or he can probably see how you can improve it, take it up that level. I mean, it's why always watching the program. Well, we got it here in Portuguese, Shark's Tank. Yeah, anyone that's trying to learn Portuguese, it's a good place to actually just listen to some of the banter or the discussions. Um, and it's yeah, the questions they ask, it's one of the best resources you've got. And they talk about planning, financial planning. Obviously, they sit there to watch the money there. They know throwing the money at a situation, anything, does not solve it. Unfortunately, governments don't really understand this. Business people do, as we're finding out from the US at the moment on a lot of things. Yeah.
But in
Um,
the case of Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and all of this, one of the most important things that they look for as well is projection, because they want the last 2 years' finances
yeah.
that projects them for the next year,
Yeah.
and they want to see where the growth is going to come from.
Yeah. I, I mean, some of the questions they ask, I mean, they say, yeah, it can be quite hard. And I do feel for these people that are going in there they put themselves there doing the presentation and then being asked these hard, really quite difficult questions. It's an entertainment show, but they are really asked some they're not soft questions, softball questions. It's like you say, where do you see? Yeah, what is this? What is your planning? Yeah. Um, and they might say, well, and the most honest one I ever saw is, well, I've got this half a plan, but I do really need some help with this because I've got beyond my capabilities. Yeah. Which is probably a very honest answer to give. Yeah, I need help. Yeah. I know I've got a good product here, a good idea. I just haven't got a clue how to market it. I mean, we're not all great marketers. I've had to learn how to market myself to a point. Um, and that that has paid dividends. And even just watching how other people market, thinking I don't like that, I'll do it a bit differently. Yeah, don't copy anyone. Yeah, be yourself. But um, there is no silver bullet with marketing. There's no with a lot of things. Um, and even of capital where you get to a point you're successful with your business, you've done all your planning here, you might need to expand a bit more. If you don't expand, you could die. Yeah. Um, and then where do you go for there? You might not have that little bit of capital to go in there. I mean, that's where Dragon's Den comes in a lot of the time. The people can see it. Means getting rid of some of the equity of your business. But that could pay dividends for you in the future. And then you got
Well, if somebody's helping you, if somebody's going to guide you along later in the front,
yeah,
in the future, I think it's money well spent.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends. At high risk, obviously, it's 20% if it's a low risk to them. Yeah, 40, 60% if it's high risk. I don't know. Yeah. Or then they buy back over like this. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not quite as clear what they don't explain on Dragon's Den, but before they go in and get involved, they do what's called due diligence.